This is our science project. And now to our seismologist, Leah.
We measure earthquakes by using tools called seismographs. During an earthquake, there are vibrations called seismic waves. These vibrations cause breakage of rock along the fault zone. The vibrations radiate outward from the point of rupture, and when these vibrations are going through the ground, a seismograph will detect them and give an alert that an earthquake is coming. There are two scales used to measure an earthquake, and the first one is magnitude scale, and the other is an intensity scale. We seismologists measure an earthquake from any point of the earth because all large earthquakes send P and S seismic waves through the interior of the earth. You should be able to receive these waves from every part of the globe because these waves are so big. P waves move in a compressional motion, while the S waves move in a shear motion perpendicular to the direction the wave is traveling. An example for the P waves is a slinky. An example for an S waves is a string.
One day in 1906, there was a major earthquake in San Francisco, California. On Wednesday, April 18th, people awoke at 5:12 a.m. to their houses violently shaking. The magnitude was 8.3 at its highest in one part. The main shock was 2 miles from the city. San Andreas Fault is where it ruptured. The destruction caused was buildings and homes were toppled over and deaths occurred. Wenatchee County is where the largest shift occurred. To measure an earthquake's waves, they used a Richter scale. The Richter magnitude scale is a mathematical technique used to quantify the size of earthquakes. It was developed in 1935 by Charles Richter. Earthquakes have been around in Egypt since about 112 BC. The myth was the great god would start it. Communities help each other by what happens by cleaning up the mess the earthquake has caused. To our geologist, Kellie!
Now that you know the history about earthquakes, I'm going to talk to you about what makes them happen. An earthquake happens when masses of rock below the Earth's surface shift and move, causing unpredictable movements. The masses of rock that cause these movements are referred to as tectonic plates, and they're constantly moving across the surface of the Earth, hitting each other, pulling away from each other, and overriding each other, which is also referred to as subduction. When a pair of plates hits each other with one of those movements beyond a certain level, the built-up energy releases and damages the Earth's crust, which is the outer layer of the Earth. This fracture is known as a fault. The released pressure also causes the ground-shaking movements that we often feel in an earthquake. An example of tectonic plates is the San Andreas Fault. It runs about 1,300 kilometers through California and the United States. The plate's motion is a horizontal motion and forms a boundary between the Pacific Plate and North American Plate. Another example of plates in North America is the Aspy Fault. It runs 40 kilometers of Cape Breton, Nova Scotia.
Leah, why don't you tell her what seismologists are?
No! I'm not ready!
This is our science. This is Brandi, Leah's, and Kellie's science project. Now here's where I saw
The P and
Sup? Can you see me?
Okay.